Welcome back, computer science students. Today, we're diving into Chapter 2 of our syllabus with Dr. Al-Maliki here at the UMM School of Computing. We are looking at symmetric key encryption. The core rule defining a symmetric system is straightforward. The sender and the receiver must use the exact same secret key to secure their communication. You rely on this principle constantly. When you access university portals, connect to campus Wi-Fi, or check your bank balance, symmetric encryption protects your passwords and transferred data. Let's map the communication cycle. We start with plain text, passing it through an encryption algorithm with our secret key to output ciphertext. The receiver passes that ciphertext through a decryption algorithm, applying the identical secret key to recover the original plain text. In this lecture, we'll start with the concept of theoretical perfection, move into practical engineering models, compare stream and block ciphers, and finally analyze how these systems are attacked. Symmetric encryption provides the computational efficiency necessary to secure high-speed data transfers without sacrificing the performance of the underlying network. Let's look at this table comparing perfect and computational security. Theoretical perfect security means a system is mathematically impossible to break. Computational security, however, means a system is technically breakable but requires an impractical amount of time and resources to do so. To understand why we rely on computational security, we need to define the key space, which is simply the absolute total number of possible keys in a given encryption system. This table maps out how key space scales. An 8-bit system gives us exactly 256 possible keys. If we increase that to 56 bits, the key space expands to 72 quadrillion options. Moving to 128 and 256 bits increases the key space to 2 to the power of 128 and 2 to the power of 256. At this scale, the number of potential keys is large enough to make a brute force search mathematically possible, but practically unachievable. Attempting to check every possible 256-bit key is what we call computationally infeasible. If an attacker requires a massive supercomputer, immense electricity costs, and 500 million years to find the correct key, the system is, for all engineering purposes, secure. However, computer processing power continuously increases over time. As hardware speeds up, algorithms that used to take millions of years to break suddenly become vulnerable. The Data Encryption Standard, or DES, was once highly secure with its 56-bit key. But as computational power grew, DES became weak, forcing cryptographers to develop the stronger Advanced Encryption Standard, or AES. Modern computational security is a constant arms race between expanding key sizes and the physical limits of computational processing power. This chart illustrates the one-time pad, or OTP. The OTP requires a truly random key that is the exact same length as the message, and that key must be used only once. Because the key is entirely random and never reused, every plaintext is equally possible. There are 0 patterns for an attacker to analyze, making OTP the only theoretically perfect encryption system. But perfect security fails in daily use. Generating, securely distributing, and storing massive single-use keys for every message is a logistical impossibility. To solve this, we use stream ciphers. Instead of perfect randomness, we generate a continuous key stream and encrypt the data 1 bit or byte at a time. This table shows the XOR mathematical logic that powers most stream ciphers. The ciphertext equals the plaintext XORed with the key stream. Let's apply this to a binary string. If our plaintext is 1010 and our key is 1100, the XOR operation outputs a ciphertext of 0110. Because stream ciphers operate bit by bit, they are extremely fast, continuous, and require very little memory. This makes them ideal for video streaming and wireless networks. The RC4 cipher was once a standard for securing Wi-Fi, though it has since been deprecated due to discovered weaknesses. Stream ciphers sacrifice the perfect mathematical randomness of the one-time pad to achieve the high speeds required for real-time mobile and voice communication. Unlike stream ciphers, block ciphers do not work bit by bit. They encrypt fixed-size chunks of data, typically in 128-bit blocks. We saw how the 1970s-era DES relied on a 56-bit key. Its modern replacement, the Advanced Encryption Standard, handles these blocks much more securely. This table shows the current global standards for AES key sizes, 128, 192, and 256 bits, allowing security to scale based on need. To process these blocks, modern ciphers run data through multiple rounds involving substitution, permutation, and key mixing. The foundational rules for these structural operations were defined by Claude Shannon. He established two critical principles: confusion and diffusion. Confusion hides the mathematical relationship between the key and the ciphertext. Diffusion ensures that changing a single bit of plaintext spreads its influence widely across the resulting ciphertext. When messages are longer than a single block, we have to string them together using modes of operation. The simplest approach is the electronic codebook, or ECB mode. In ECB mode, every block is encrypted completely independently. If you input identical plaintext blocks, you output identical ciphertext blocks. The resulting data retains visual patterns, leaking information about the plaintext to attackers. To fix this, we use cipher block chaining, or CBC mode, where each block mathematically depends on the previous block. Looking at the CBC formula, we take the plaintext and XOR it against the ciphertext of the previous block before encrypting it. This destroys repeating patterns. The strength of a 256-bit AES key cannot fix the structural flaws of ECB mode. Cryptographic security depends on the implementation of the operational mode just as much as the algorithm itself. No encryption system is useful unless it can resist specific methods of cryptanalysis. This table categorizes the standard mathematical attacks. They range from simple brute force attempts, trying every key, to known-plaintext attacks, where the adversary already has a sample of the unencrypted data. A particularly powerful model is the chosen-plaintext attack. Here, the attacker can actively input specific plaintexts and observe the resulting ciphertexts to deduce the key. Attackers also use differential cryptanalysis to study how specific differences in inputs affect the outputs, or linear cryptanalysis to build mathematical approximations of the cipher. But sometimes the math holds up, and the system fails anyway. This happens through side-channel attacks, which target the physical engineering rather than the algorithm. Instead of solving equations, attackers monitor the physical hardware. They measure variations in calculation times for different keys, track power consumption, or analyze electromagnetic leaks from the circuit board. Weak hardware implementations have led to major Wi-Fi vulnerabilities, compromised smart cards, and catastrophic hardware security failures. Even an algorithm with perfect computational security will fail if the physical hardware leaks its secrets. Let's bring these architectures together. This comparison shows trade-offs between stream and block ciphers across speed, memory, and applications. The rule of thumb: deploy stream ciphers for fast, low-memory, continuous streams, and use block ciphers for secure, fixed-size file encryption. For your upcoming exam, focus your review on these core concepts. You must be able to articulate the exact difference between perfect and computational security, and explain why the one-time pad is mathematically flawless but practically impossible to use. Be prepared to walk through the XOR operation, outline the reasons AES replaced DES, and show mathematically how CBC mode addresses the pattern leakage of ECB mode. Mastering these basic symmetric key concepts provides the technical foundation you will need to design and analyze advanced cybersecurity architectures later in your computing careers.